So the questions are, so homeowner has water on the windows.
Yeah.
They sit at their kitchen table and there's windows behind them or door behind them. They feel that cold draft.
Mm-hmm.
How do we stop that?
Well, as far as the moisture itself, we have to play with dew point. So dehumidification, warm up surface temperatures, proper insulation. It's not going to affect the glass, but people have condensating walls and floors and things like that. So it's a challenge to address those problems, and everyone's kind of unique. And what we have to do is look at how tight is the home. I mean, that's a big factor too. In new construction today, we have to be a certain amount of air exchange between inside and out. So the house is very tight, so the humidity builds in the home, so you get even more condensation on the windows. So we have to mechanically manage that with dehumidification.
That's interesting. So a lot of this talk is basically good conversation with you and I. For the homeowner who's listening, they're like, oh my God, this is a lot. If they want their home tested, because you can go to a house and you can diagnose everything wrong with it.
Yep.
They can call you up and get you to come out and do an assessment.
Yep.
What would be the best way to?
Yeah, I like the
word
assessment. I like the word assessment.
So you can assess the insulation situation. You can assess the mildew or the dew point situation,
Yep.
the humidity percentage situation. You can look at all that and say to them, okay, here's what I see is wrong with your house, and then you can prescribe solutions.
Yep.
That's the simple way.
Yep. Data-driven recommendations.
Data-driven science, folks. And I'm not talking about Bill Nye, the science guy, because that guy doesn't know anything. Hire it done science. That's what I'm talking about. Building performance solutions. Your website is comforttolife.com.
Yep.
The word comfort, then the word TO, and then life.com. That's the easiest. And so, Alex, you and I have been doing business a long time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how far back do we go?
2006, 7?
Boy.
Yeah.
That's right, folks. Hire It Done has been around since 2005. So that's a good deal. By the way, folks, if you have a question, text us 97136 or give us a call, 248-539-9797. Let's go to the phone lines really quick. We've got Dennis, you there?
Yes.
Good morning, sir. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
You got a question?
Yes, I do. Actually, I'm getting windows and a door wall installed today, and I'm wondering if the weather could affect the installation process.
That's a great question. I would say in this weather, yes, it could, depending on what kind of caulk they're using and what kind of insulation around the jambs and the weather stripping of the window. So, Alex, do you have a comment on that, Alex?
Well, yeah, I agree. The temperature, how well the caulk can manage in these negative teen weather. Also, too, when the windows are installed, you want to use a low expanding foam around the windows. That shouldn't be too much of an issue, as long as they're using that one part foam.
Well, I was just wondering. I mean, should I cancel it today and wait for warmer weather, or?
Between you and I, it's a Saturday. How long have you been waiting for the windows to be installed?
It's been a while.
Okay. So the other thing is it's also the problem is that your house, once they take windows out, it's like leaving your doors open in negative temperature weather. So you're going to lose all the heat. Not a lot of heat, all of the heat you're going to lose. So it's going to cost you actually money today because your furnace is going to be running all day. If I were you, I'd be honest with you. I don't want to upset the window company, but I would say, yeah, I would have them reschedule.
Okay. All right, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
It's too cold. There are certain times when the workers don't need to be doing it, especially when they're working inside and outside all day long. How many windows is it?
6 windows and a door wall.
Okay, yeah, that's
Sliding
enough.
door.
Yeah, that's enough to call it off. My opinion. Now, if they say, well, we can't come back for 6 more weeks, I don't know. You might have to roll the dice there.
Right.
But here's the deal. The best window, Dennis, is the one that's installed properly. That's why it's important.
Right.
So
that's what I was thinking, because I'm thinking these guys are going to be freezing their butts off, and they're going to be rushing to get it done because it's cold out.
100%. And you can believe that. They're not taking their time. That I can tell you.
Right.
So.
Right. That was my big concern there. Yeah, definitely.
So anyways, all right, well, listen, Thanks for the call. Happy New Year to you. And if there's any issues after the fact, you can call us back. Let us know.
Great. Thanks so much.
All right, great. That was good. So, Alex, I wouldn't put windows in this weather, would you?
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
Yeah, it's a little chilly out there. So, okay. So, in the science of houses, in the science of saving energy or just energy usage, right? A house, when the furnace turns on, it uses air to combust. That air has to come from somewhere. Over time, they've learned, okay, let's get air from the outside.
Yeah.
Makeup air, they call it. But they also mix it with the inside air. Or do they not?
Well, if it's a closed combustion system, it's going to pull all its combustion air from outside through a piece of PVC pipe, which then supports the flame. And then the carbon is exhausted out through another piece of PVC pipe.
Right.
So what's best is that you have a two-pipe system, so it's pulling all its combustion air from outside and not the living space. Because, some furnaces are installed and they'll only put one pipe, the exhaust out, when they'll draw the air to the furnace. And they won't connect that second pipe to bring in combustion air from outside. So they create a negative pressure in the basement by doing so. But you just spent all this money trying to heat up this air, and now you're just sucking into your furnace to support the flame that's going right out your wall.
Which you don't want to do.
Right. It's just not an efficient way to manage that.
So you go into houses every day.
Yeah.
And every day you're doing something to a house. What's the number one thing a listener today can do that will save them the most amount of energy?
Well, I right now, the biggest thing that you can pay attention to is the ice damming issues. Walk around your house and see if you have any major, I'm not talking a little bit of icicles here and there. I'm talking major icicle damming, large ice mounds building up on your roof lines. Just pay attention to those kinds of things. If the inside of your house, the windows are sweating, there's a real good chance that you got frost and moisture in your attic too. So paying attention to that is probably the biggest thing to save on money, because the destructive damage that would occur if you let those conditions continue, it's just tremendous.
So what can a homeowner do today if they can pop their head up in their attic, look into the attic, and look and see if there's frost on the inside of the...
Yep. Look at the underside of the roof deck. Look towards the outer edges. We call it the soffit area, the low part of the roof. Look and shine a light down there. You see any shininess? That's frost. It's building up. Look at the nail heads sticking through from the shingles. If there's frost on those, that's a problem. That's excessive heat buildup in the attic space, and it's condensing on the coldest surfaces.
And then freezing.
And freezing, yep.
All right, well, there you have it. Well, we're going to take a quick break, folks. When we come back, we're going to talk about energy audits. Is solar, turbines, batteries? We're going to talk about that, too, when we come back. I'm Adam Helfman. This is Hire It Done, Performance Solution. If you want to talk to him, his website's comforttolife.com, or the toll-free number, 855-WANT-FOAM. Can you imagine if you had Mike Morris's budget, 855 Mike wins?
Oh, yeah.
855 Mike wins, 855-WANT-FOAM. Save energy, call me. I'm a jingle writer, can you tell?
Yeah.
Not a chance. I'll stick to what I know. If you have a question about energy savings, folks, insulation, caulking, ice damming, we're going to talk about in a minute, text us 97136. In fact, we just got one in. Bill Nye has been around longer than 05. Bill Nye, ugh. Can you talk about condensation on the inside of a garage? The inside of the door is basically a sheet of ice. Okay, so there's a couple scenarios. Let's talk about that for a minute. How many houses have you been to where there's that bonus room above the garage and there's pipes underneath in between the ceiling and they freeze? It's crazy. That room is always frozen. You seen that?
Oh, yeah. We fix them probably 2 a month.
Right. There's a builder that built hundreds of homes like that. We should thank him. I'm going to bring him on and thank him for that design flaw. Yeah. But I don't think he'd be happy.
There's a few things that factor in, what the municipality requires as far as the orientation of the insulation, what type of insulation, the floor joist assemblies, all these things factor in. Improper materials that are being used. Contractors, their fix when they build like production style homes is, well, just take a heat duct and dump heat in between the floors to offset those cold temperatures. And
not worry what the homeowner thinks or cares because it costs them an extra $30 a month.
Right, because you're heating the outside essentially. Yeah. So, yeah, there's definitely fixes for it. Some are more invasive than others, but...
You're right. So let's address this question here from this caller. The inside of his door is basically a sheet of ice. So let's just assume, would that be the garage door or the service door?
Yeah, that's the question. I don't,
Yeah, let's assume that it's the
whatever the case, if it's covered in frost, it's condensating. There's something condensating. There's heat buildup somewhere within the garage, whether it's communication from the house into the garage or what. But you have a temperature differential, and that moisture is condensing on that cold surface. So you'll see it on the coldest of surfaces. So what is going to be the coldest surface in your garage? It's going to be the doors. It's aluminum or galvanized metal, and the warm air gets to it and starts to condense and then frost up. So what we need to find is what is communicating to that garage that's adding extra heat, and stop it. Whether that be air sealing or insulating, those are two different things.
right.
Insulating and air sealing are completely different. There's convection and conduction that we're dealing with. So adding more insulation sometimes doesn't fix the problem. It's all about air sealing too,
Balance.
stopping convection. Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about air sealing for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So you got an existing home. We're talking existing home. It needs to be air sealed. So areas that, well, first of all, let's go to the testing for air sealing.
Sure.
Air sealing is where you're finding leaks in the house
Mm-hmm.
and you're plugging them up.
Right.
So when you do a test on a home, is it a smoke pencil, or is it a blower door, or both? What's the first step?
Yeah. One diagnostic tool that can be used is what's called a blower door test, and it's like a large fan that you hook up to your exterior door, and it pulls outside air in, where then we can walk from room to room, from floor to floor, and pinpoint where the drafts are coming in. And we can start quantifying, wow, this room is worse than this room, or this floor is worse than this floor, and really pinpoint with a smoke pencil where the draft is actually coming in.
So a smoke pencil looks like a pencil,
Mm-hmm.
and it emits smoke.
Yep. And it just shows us current, just shows us flow. And then you combine that with an infrared camera. An infrared camera is like a digital camera, and it reads surface temperature. And so we can actually scan behind the walls and between floors and start seeing air movement behind these areas that we couldn't physically feel because it was below the floors or in the walls. So now we can identify those points and then ultimately seal them up.
Superman doesn't need an infrared camera.
Hmm.
Batman has one in his tool belt.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, an infrared camera is the must-have tool for any energy savings contractor.
Mm-hmm.
You have one.
Yeah.
Our other contractors have one. In fact, it's one of the necessary things you need when you want to become a hired done contractor, because that doesn't lie.
Right.
You can take the infrared camera, show it on the wall, and you can see where the hot air is going right out of the house.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, air sealing. If you put your hand over an electrical plug on the outside wall and you feel cold air right there,
Mm-hmm.
that's what needs to be air sealed.
Yeah, and then the question becomes, do we just do a point seal, meaning we're just going to put some like child safety plug protectors over it to stop the draft from coming in, or are we going to get to the root cause, which is in the wall, a breach from the outside penetrating into the wall? Because think about it. If you got air racing in between your walls and you got fiberglass in your walls, imagine a knitted sweater on a windy day. That sweater, I don't care how thick it is. If air's moving through it, it's useless. And we'll show you that with your infrared camera. If there's air moving through that fiberglass, it just strips the heat right out of it.
So, good question, because someone just texted in. What's the process to insulate walls that are already finished? I have an addition that seems they may have skimped out on it.
Mm-hmm.
Very common problem.
Mm-hmm.
People who have added on, they're like, why is this addition, cold? Well, it could be on a slab. There could be a lot of reasons. They just added to the heat ducts without balancing the furnace. However, regular fiberglass insulation sandwiched between drywall and an exterior siding is all there is to prevent the heat from leaving, right?
Right.
What do you do in a situation like that where you want to add insulation in between the walls?
Yeah, so if it's a poorly insulated wall, we can re-insulate with two products. One's called cellulose and the other is called injection foam. Now, if it's a brick veneered home and you plan to insulate from the outside and not the inside, it's going to be recommended that you use injection foam. If it's a wall that has any insulation in it at all, then the only option is injection foam. And the reason being, the installation process is very similar, but cellulose is blown in with air. And so the air gets trapped in the fibers of the existing material, and so you don't get a real good, dense, packed wall. Injection foam is like shaving cream, and it flows. So you can inject it into a wall cavity through a small hole, like a drill hole through the mortar joint of your brick. But it's designed to impede itself through the fibers of any existing material, compressing it, maximizing your R value, but more importantly, air sealing the wall cavity. Injection foam is a product where the cells are encapsulated so air can't move through it. and that's what's critical to stopping convective heat loss.
So we get questions quite a bit on people saying, "Hey, Adam, I'm getting injection foam insulation, but I'm confused about open cell, closed cell." You know, they go on the internet and all of a sudden they're reading and it confuses them. Let's give the right way right now. Should someone who in the walls, not the ceiling or the attic, but let's say in the walls, is it closed cell or open cell?
Well, actually, injection foam is a completely different foam. Open cell and closed cell is referred to, usually it's a urethane-based foam, and it's a high expanding type foam. So when you spray it, it rapidly expands, and there's pressure behind that. So you can't use an open or closed cell foam for a retrofit scenario where it's a wall cavity. It's reserved for open wall cavities where there's, you're spraying it onto a surface.
And if you did where it was closed cavity, it would push the drywall off?
Yeah, blow the drywall right off. Yeah,
it would. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting to know. I'm glad I learned that. It's something I just learned.
Yeah, in injection foam, it's actually a non-toxic, no-odor foam. It's actually water, detergent, and air mixed together, and then a resin, like a glue, that bonds to it. So when it comes out of the gun, it's already fully expanded. The consistency is just like shaving cream. So when there's pressure behind it, it will start collapsing the cells, so it won't blow your wall apart. So it's a completely different type of chemistry.
But the results are that it stops the airflow.
Right. It's still a foam, so it's an air barrier.
Is that expensive?
No, it's actually it's a very cost-effective product and installation, and it has a return on investment. So that's what's important, is the energy savings that you get will eventually.
So it does. It cuts your energy bill down.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. If you want to save energy in your house, right, have comforttolife.com, Building Performance Solutions, come out. Do you do a blower door test on every house, or can you basically now go and say, over the phone, ask them what the problem is, and then take a look?
Yeah, everybody kind of has an idea of what the issues are. Some require some level of testing in order to truly identify the problems. But for the most part, we can walk through the house and show them opportunities for improving the performance. You
can price it independently too.
Yep.
So if someone says, "Well, I can't afford all of this right now. I just I just want to do the top 3 things," you'd be like, "No problem. Boom, boom, boom."
Yep. We break it down. We show them there's rebates available to them. There's lots of different nonprofit financing that's available to them. So we got many different solutions for them to.
Michigan Saves?
Yeah, Michigan Saves, great program. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about Michigan Saves for a second, because they've in contact with me quite a bit. So if a homeowner has insulation issues and want to do it, and let's say it's $5,000, they can apply for financing through Michigan Saves.
Yeah, it's an unsecured loan. It's 4.99%. So for an unsecured loan, that's extremely competitive. And the reason being, it's backed by a federal grant. $5,000 loan, the monthly payment's going to be around $60 a month.
That's it?
Yeah.
And $5,000 can button up most houses.
Yeah, and 4.99% interest in $5,000 is probably around $16. So I can guarantee you a higher energy savings than $16 a month.
So here's what he's saying, because this is so magical. You got $5,000 in energy savings applied to your house, right? Insulation, caulking, air sealing, whatever he does. And then it only costs you $60 a month. That's the payment. However, your gas and electric bill go down by over $60 a month.
Over $16 a month, yeah. The interest that you would get, yeah.
Done.
Yep.
It's paying for itself.
Yep.
Comforttolife.com. You should be running to this guy right now. Comforttolife.com. And here's what's the caveat? You're really busy.
Yeah, with the extremely cold temperatures, it's a little nuts.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
Are you hiring?
Absolutely. Yes.
So, folks, Alex Van Rijn from Building Performance Solutions is hiring. Here's the deal: you got to have to pass a drug test. You got to have a valid driver's license, and you got to be willing to learn and work hard.
Yeah, willing to get in attics and crawl spaces and working in hot and cold temperatures. Yeah, and we're not seasonal work. We do commercial.
You're busy year round.
All year round. It hasn't slowed down. I've been saying, oh, we got a busy. No, we don't have a busy season. It's just busy all the time.
Right, and then it gets busier when you get 0-degree weather.
Right.
Or negative, whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. So what about let's go take a step backwards for a second. The homeowner has the winter summer humidity button.
Mm-hmm.
Why has all the technology we have, Internet of Things, digital thermostats, apps everywhere, why are we still stuck in the 70s and 80s with these humidifiers? What is the problem, Alex? Linda, why aren't you listening?
I think humidification, as houses evolve, it's not going to be as critical anymore. You're not going to need humidification because the humidity that's naturally generated from burning natural gas and from cooking, showering, fish tanks, pets, kids, bath time, all that stuff generates enough moisture
So you don't
in
have
a
to
tight
add
home.
it in.
Right. We actually have to remove it. It gets too humid in tighter homes. It's a good thing. And we want to be efficient. We don't want to let unconditioned air coming in from the attic, from the crawl space, from the outside. It's dirty and it's contaminated. It's playing havoc with our energy efficiency and our comfort. I want to control that. I want to seal the house up as tight as possible, but then manage my indoor air quality. And the only way you can manage your indoor air quality is by properly testing, doing blower door testing and determining what the building airflow standard is based upon the number of occupants, number of bedrooms, square footage of the house. Once we determine what that is, then we can control, the environment of the house and do it in a safe way.
Did you hear that, folks? Safe way. That's what I'm talking about. Text us if you have an insulation question. 97136, or even call 248-539-9797. I have a frozen water pipe leading to my washing machine. What should I do while it's negative temperatures out? Yeah, right. It's probably not much you can do.
Yeah,
tape.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, you can't run, the water to keep it flowing. I guess the good question is how much of the pipe is exposed inside the house, and can we get some heat to it?
Right. That's the problem. Great guest today, Adam. I listen to your show every week, and I've learned more from him today than I usually learn from a whole normal show. Mike in Southgate. Hey, Mike, thanks for the shout out. Will insulating the attic of an attached garage make a big difference in my heat bill?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Will insulating the attic of an attached garage make a difference in my heat bills?
Insulating the garage of an attached. So if there's no space above it, it's got an attic space. No, it won't do anything for you. If the garage isn't being heated and the garage isn't communicating to the living space, which it shouldn't be.
Right. You have to have that wall.
It will do nothing for you. All insulating a garage will do for you, if you're not heating it, is slow the transfer of cold from outside in. It's like a cooler, right? Cooler. It's all about the contents in the cooler. But eventually, once the contents in the cooler cools down, it's going to stay cold, or, so
you don't recommend that?
It's not going to be any value to you unless you're going to start heating the garage.
Well, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break, folks. We're going to talk more insulation, energy savings, frozen pipes, ice damming. And then I want to know some horror stories. Like, what have you seen, like crazy stuff in the past?
Sure.
We'll be right back, folks. Welcome back, folks. What you don't know can hurt you. Alex, it's pretty true, right? Yep. What you don't know can hurt you.
Yep.
So if you don't know what the insulation is in your attic and it's not enough, that can hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you have a question, folks, we're talking insulation. We have Alex Van Rijn from Building Performance Solution. He takes a science, data-based approach to solving all your energy loss needs, making your house more energy efficient and things like that. If you have a question, text us 97136. If you want to get a hold of Alex directly, go to his website, comforttolife.com, or call him 855-WANT-FOAM. They will solve all your issues, anything energy related. Let's go right into ice damming. Hire It Done is proud to say that we have the best roofers in the industry. The guys that are the benchmark, okay? And ice damming, even if the roof is installed properly, sometimes ice damming it happens.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't just blame the roofer unless he did something wrong. Because if you bought a new roof that included ice and water shield, that's not, it helps in reducing ice damming, reducing ice damming, but it doesn't solve it.
It reduces the potential of moisture or water coming into the house.
Right. That's protecting for the damage.
Right. So ice damming is a contribution of several things, but ultimately it's warm in the attic, heating up the roof, causing the snow to melt, run to the outer edges of the roof where then there's no heat and refreezes. And it creates a dam. Well, there's still snow on the roof. It's still running down. Now it's hitting a dam and it's backing up the roof. And actually, and getting underneath your underlayments.
How does heat get in your roof? How does heat get in your attic? Okay, so let's talk about how that happens. Yeah. If you're a homeowner who has recessed cans, right?
Yeah.
Those recessed cans give off a lot of heat, especially if they have like halogen bulbs.
Yeah. So we have to identify where's the communication between the house in the attic. The attic is a vented space. It's supposed to be within 10 degrees of the temperature outside, so the attic is outside. It's cold. So any communication between the house and the attic needs to be sealed. Adding more insulation does not fix that problem. Adding more ventilation does not fix that problem. Adding heat tape does not fix that problem.
Those are Band-Aid fixes.
Those are just eliminating or trying to reduce the symptom, okay, or the outcome. We're trying to get to the root cause. What's the root cause? It's warm air getting into that attic.
Correct.
So we need to go in and assess where's the communication points, recessed lights, attic access hatches, pull down stairs, partition walls, electrical, plumbing, mechanical penetrations, bathroom fans.
So there's that many items.
Oh, it's. I can keep going on. There's so many communicating points, and they have to be sealed. Throwing more insulation on top of it is not going to stop warm air. Warm air moves through insulation. Fiberglass, cellulose, cotton, balsam, all these products allow air to move through it. Only caulks, sealants, and foams will stop that air movement.
And that's what you want to do is stop it. So
Right.
Here's the one thing I always ask. I say to homeowners, hey, do you have access to your attic? And they're like, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, wait, above the closet, there's a square little thing. Well, luckily, I can still fit through them. And I'm like, do you have insulation on the back of it? They look at me like, huh? What?
Yeah.
It's like when I ask people if they changed their air filter in their furnace recently. They're like, what? Huh? I mean, a lot of people do, but most don't. So just the fact that you can seal or insulate the back of, or actually not insulate, air seal, the actual attic access can make a huge difference.
Yeah. Any penetration within the ceiling line is what we define as a major bypass because there's warm air rises, right?
Yeah.
Just like in a hot air balloon. So it's called stack pressure, where it actually has a driving force behind it, and those small little holes become a much bigger deal because there's force behind it. So the attic access hatch is a major one. Usually that's the coldest room in the house. When we would do blower door testing, you almost can tell exactly where the attic access hatch is because that's the coldest room. You go in there, we properly weather strip it, we properly insulate it, and address that access point. Listen, our doors and windows are weather stripped, right? We're trying to keep the outside from coming in. Well, the attic is outside, so any penetration to the outside needs to be weather stripped, yeah.
And that makes common sense, but why are not the builders today doing that?
Because it costs money.
Oh.
And, it comes down to education, too. A lot of people don't understand stack pressure. They don't understand, the communicating points. So,
Will you take Bitcoin?
Bitcoin? Never used it.
Hire a done coin. We're going to come out with our own cryptocurrency. I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
Anyways, you hear that, folks? He just made like a benchmark, an aha moment. Windows and doors have weather stripping because it's stopping the outside air from coming in. The attic is supposed to be the outside air.
Mm-hmm.
There's no weather stripping.
It's just drywall on trim.
Weather stripping lives matter. That's the truth. Hashtag, right?
Yeah.
That's what we got to do. We have to start a movement.
Okay.
Weather stripping for attics. Are you going to donate?
Sure.
I'm in too. Right. Folks, here's a question. How can you efficiently heat an attached two-car garage? That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, there's no real efficient way to do that.
Right.
I think the most important thing is making sure you can control the environment. So properly insulating and air sealing the perimeter, the building envelope of that space, and then radiant heat works really well. That's a very efficient way to heat space.
So there's convection, conduction, and radiant.
Yeah.
Radiant, how does it explain that to everyone?
Well, radiation is just like the sun. It doesn't need a medium to travel through. It just goes from one surface to another.
It heats the molecules,
right,
and then you feel it.
So you don't need any oxygen between the sun and the earth to transfer that heat.
So a radiant heater.
Right. So it will heat the mass of the
They use electric heat radiant?
You can use, electric, or you can get into any type of fuel.
I was just going to say, run your car, put the heat on it, put the windows down in the car, and then just open the garage just a little bit so the exhaust goes out.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So our heating and cooling guys, folks, have what they call portable garage heaters that are run on gas, and they have thermostat controls.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have one in my garage. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
This morning I was 50 degrees in my garage.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, and then when I pulled out, whoa, cold. But here's the deal. I have a heated garage, and I have a huge ice dam coming off the overhang. I have 3-foot overhangs on my garage. That, it's like 5-6 feet long, like a monster. And the ice is 6 inches thick.
Yeah.
So
So
it's in the garage. I'm not doing anything about it.
well, that's the thing people need to consider too. Is that if you're going to start heating your garage, and the garage was never designed to be heated,
Right.
it's not insulated. So you're adding excessive heat into the attic, which wasn't
And
able
it'll
to support
travel
that.
towards into your other part of your house.
If there's communication, yeah, and you can create moisture issues within your attic by doing that. We're working on a customer right now. The same thing. He has ice damming. He heated his garage, and he changed the conditions. So we got to be careful of that. And that goes with any home improvement. You could be majorly, changing the way the house feels and the dynamics of the house by adding additions, by
You were just
skylights.
recently. Let's talk about you recently at my friend's house in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
He had additions going on, and that was the problem. I said to him when he was buying the house, I said, "This is a flip house. The guy who bought it never lived there.
Mm-hmm.
They added on and they made all this nice stuff, HGTV, gray everything, and they didn't check for the science of it." And I want to talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break. You got a question, text us 97136. This is Hire It Done on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hire It Done. My name's Adam Helfman. You got a question about home performance, insulation, frozen pipes, ice damming? Give us a call, 248-539-9797. We got a phone call. Let's take it really quick. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
We are awesome. What's going on in Canton?
Well, it's cold, and every year I kind of have the same problem in my house, and this year it's even worse because it's been so cold. But I have a 2-story home where the top story of my house overhangs the bottom half of my house by about a good 2.5, maybe 3 feet. And there's just spots on the top floor of my house, like especially if I'm walking up the stairs and the linen closet is like right there. You can feel the cold air on your feet before you get to the top of the steps. And it's just a spot in my home where it's just cold air is just pouring in. And I'm not sure what to do about it, if anything could be done about it.
It's a common problem when you have cantilevered second floors. Alex, you deal with that all the time.
Yeah. The second floor overhangs the first floor, so you have this 2-foot overhang, and generally it's just vinyl siding, aluminum siding, or even plywood. But there's leaks, there's cracks, there's penetrations that are allowing air to flow up into that floor joist assembly. And unfortunately, in construction, a lot of times there's not blockers. The floor joists are just completely open, so air can literally race from one end of the house to the other end of the house through the floor joist assembly, and that's what's cooling the floors down. So it's quite common. All we do is we'll disassemble the outside soffit, take down the material, and then properly spray foam the underside of the floor, as well as block off with spray foam the floor joist ends to stop that air from flowing in between the first and second floor.
And that'll solve the problem.
Yeah, that will fix the problem. Yeah.
Nick, how about that?
That sounds great. I would be interested in maybe having something like that done if possible.
So it's real simple. First of all, great question, and thanks for calling. Just go to hireitdone.com and type in insulation, or go to comforttolife.com, get a hold of Alex directly, or you can even call him, 855-WANT-FOAM. Any of those situations, Alex is going to come out. They're going to take care of it, and that'll solve that problem for you. And while he's there, you might as well have him assess the rest of your house, and you could package it all together. It's probably a better way to do that.
Yeah, there's other major assemblies too that can make an overall impact to the whole house too. So
Okay,
anyways,
great. Thanks,
Nick,
guys.
Happy New Year. Look forward to helping you out. Take care, man. That was a really good question, actually.
Yeah,
so,
very
folks,
cool.
if you have issues, you've got questions, always. That's what Hire It Done's here for, to help you. Here's one. I have an addition that was added in 84 on a house I recently bought. It's 2,400 square foot single-story ranch. The addition gets ice dams, but the main house does not. I take it the addition needs some insulation. Justin in Farmington Hills. Justin, that's a good question. So the addition, obviously, when it was attached to the house, there's got to be airflow flying through there that's getting the ice dam.
Yeah, additions depending on what era they were installed. Did he mention that? He
84.
The addition was added.
Oh no, and then it doesn't say when
So
the addition.
the additions are newer than 84.
Right.
So yeah, it could be a number of different things. Just it could be lacking of insulation, could be poor construction techniques.
But you can tell when you see if the house is good and you have the addition, infrared camera can tell. There's a lot of ways you can diagnose it right away.
Yeah, it takes the guesswork right out of the equation.
You don't have to worry. X-ray vision.
Yeah, that's great.
It's the best tool ever.
It's no longer somebody telling you, well, I think it's this, I think it's that. No,
we know.
We know.
That's important. Shout out to Brian Lee, Mike Anthony. Our contractors are listening this morning. Brad Klaus. What up, Mark Henderson? My Pokemon are called Greg. Thank you. Dan, friend of mine, says, my garage is insulated because a bedroom is above it. What's the average cost to heat that? What type do you recommend? Okay, so yeah, that's another situation where the floor above the garage needs to be heated. And then put a heater in the garage to prevent.
Yeah, they're trying to supplement some of the heat upstairs by heating the garage.
So, in a situation, let's take that again. In a situation where there's a bonus room above the garage, and they want you to now seal it up, you take away the insulation, or do you take the drywall off in the ceiling of the garage?
Most of the time, what we find with bedrooms above garages is that the fiberglass insulation that was installed has now separated from the floor. Whether they installed it improperly and put the insulation against the drywall garage ceiling, or gravity has taken effect and the fiberglass is pulled away from the floor, it's not going to do anything for you unless it's touching the floor. Think about laying in bed and holding the blanket off your skin. If there's air between your skin and the blanket, it's useless. So if that fiberglass is separated from the floor because of gravity, because of walking across the floor, vibrations, the garage door opening, whatever the case, or just was installed improperly, and there's air between the floor and the fiberglass, you're going to be cold. So we need to go in and properly insulate it and air seal any penetrations. So a bulletproof process is spray foaming. We spray foam the underside of the floor, problem solved. We never have to worry about it again, and the entire floor assembly and bedroom above is warm. It's a little bit more involved to do that, though. You know, people have to be ready to remove the ceiling of the garage in order to access all the areas to spray foam it. You know, we kind of have to start from scratch because it was done improperly from the beginning.
So if that scenario, folks, is something that sounds like to you, like, oh, man, I have that too, just call Alex Van Rijn from Building Performance Solutions. They can come out and solve that. Pretty easy. His website's comforttolife.com, or you can call him toll-free, 855-WANT-FOAM. And that's pretty easy, right? Mm. Now, you are really busy.
Extremely.
So, folks, you got to understand something. The guys in the business that are really good at stuff like this, they're busy. So it's worth the wait. However, you make the appointment and call. Like you recently went out to my friend's house. You know, he had to wait about a week.
With the holidays,
yeah. Sure. So here we have a house, typical house. What is it, a two-story?
Two-story bungalow here.
Yeah. It had an addition with a low-pitched rubber roof attached to the side. Yeah. So they had water coming in from the wall. They had it from the ceiling. They had like all kinds of headaches.
Yeah, major ice damming on the house. And, the contributing factor was excessive heat buildup. I went in his attic. I took my coat off. It was that warm in the attic. That's not good. That's bad. And so all that heat is heating up that roof and causing that snow to melt and dam up. And then eventually it started coming in, and he was getting drywall damage, and it was coming through his windows, you know, running down the interior wall or the exterior walls. So that's concerning. You got water in the interior.
Well, and there's the thing, you know, if you leave that to go, folks, even though the temperature changes, you're going to get mold. Yeah. And then you're going to have toxicity, and then it becomes a bigger issue. Yeah. So you need to mitigate immediately. So in his situation, what's the plan?
Yeah. So his is a combination of both air sealing and insulating and dealing with the access points that communicate to the attic. So we're going to be doing a level of spray foaming, a level of adding in some additional insulation, because when the house was built, there's like an R3 in there. He needed to be an R49.
Right. So you can solve all that, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the ventilation was a consideration too. He doesn't have much ventilation at all. So, you know, we get to the root cause, stop the heat from communicating to the attic, and then the ventilation becomes a secondary measure to manage any residual. Right?
Sure.
So, you know, and ventilation needs to be balanced. If a roofing contractor says, you need 3 on the front and 5 on the back, and that should be good. No, there's a mathematical calculation that we determine how much soffit venting, ridge venting, or can venting you
per
need.
Square footage of attic space.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you follow again, it's science-based.
Yeah.
And it's real simple. And once you apply all that and you do it, problem solved.
Yeah.
So Are there any tax credits still available 2018 going forward? Is there any energy stuff? Can people reduce the cost of doing this? Is there any help out there?
Yeah. So as far as tax credits, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen this year. Still got to get those updates. But there is utility rebates through consumers, DTE, Semco Energy.
And you help the homeowner with all that.
Oh, yeah. We're authorized contractors for each utility company, so we can extend to them all the rebates. And there's hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in rebates, depending on what the customer moves forward with. So we'll help them with all of that. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. So, folks, listen to this. This is very important. If you want to cut your energy bill, so how much on average, can you cut someone's energy bill?
You could see as much as 50%.
You could cut it in half if you really got down and dirty.
Yeah, it depends on how fast. I always say I can get you up this performance ladder. I can get you 2 steps up the ladder or 10 steps up the ladder. The question is how high you want to go, how fast you want to get there, and how much money do you want to spend to do it.
Right. So if you go for the gusto, okay, are you talking a lot? How much are we talking on an average house? If someone, you must have an idea in your head.
Yeah, I mean, a building envelope dealing with air sealing and insulating, it could be anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000. You get into mechanical systems, heating and cooling, and the building envelope, you could be, 15 to 20. So it just.
But
depends.
if a homeowner had $3,000 to spend, you could do a lot with $3,000.
Oh, a heck of a lot.
Right?
Yeah.
Total. That's what I'm saying because a lot of times people say, "Oh, I'm just going to blow insulation in my attic."
Yeah.
Not always. If the ventilation's not correct and you don't seal the penetrations. Yep. It's not. Excuse me. It's not worth it.
The biggest difference between us and your traditional contractor, okay, your insulating contractor, your heating and cooling contractor, your window contractor, is we look at the entire system. I don't care how good your heart is. If your kidneys aren't working, the system fails. So if you have somebody that's just focused on one discipline, it's very difficult for them to understand the whole system and ultimately improve the comfort, efficiency, and health and safety of the home. We're looking at every aspect of the home and making those recommendations based upon your goals and your expectations. So it's a completely different mindset.
And you know what? I appreciate that because you take a whole house approach.
Yeah.
So let's go into the basement really quick.
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap things up. Basement walls, block, concrete, doesn't matter. At the top of the wall, we call it the bond plate.
Yeah.
How much energy do people lose through that?
It's one of the major assemblies for air infiltration. It is, if you were to pick one thing today, it would be to air seal and insulate that rim joist.
Okay, so folks, when you got time, walk into your basement today, go to an outside wall, go to the top of the wall where it ends and where the framing starts. There's a bond plate, and then there's the outer 2x10, 2x12.
Yep.
That cavity, every 16 inches is
Yep.
a cavity, right?
Yep.
If you don't have proper insulation in there, energy from your house is going out.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If you have pink stuff, yellow stuff, or white stuff, it's fiberglass.
Correct.
Fiberglass allows air to move through it.
But it slows it down a little.
It does to slow it down, and you can actually see that when you pull the material out of that little section, and you see all gray and black buildup, or you see cobwebs. That's the fiberglass filtering the dirt out of the air. How good's a knitted sweater on a windy day? Not so good. So if we take a material that is air permeable, air can flow through it, and we put it in an assembly that has air infiltration, it's not going to do anything for you. So we remove that material and we use spray foam. Right. And we spray foam that assembly, which will stop the cold from conducting through. It'll stop the air from infiltrating. It'll stop the dust, the insects, the pollens, and even rodents from coming in. So it's a very, very effective thing. If you just put new fiberglass in, it's going to allow the air to move through it, and it will not stop the draft.
So why, again, I'm going to the whys. Why do they allow that to happen? Why do builders allow that?
So the code is the minimum requirements to building a home.
Minimum.
They don't discriminate against insulation types. They just tell you have to meet a certain R value. So that's the problem is that if I give you an R13 fiberglass bat or an R20 fiberglass bat and put it in this assembly, it meets code, but it doesn't stop convection. It doesn't stop airflow. So you have to use different building materials to eliminate the next issue, which is the draft.
Okay, so can somebody buy like Dow blue board, that 2-inch thick blue foam, and cut it to that space and then caulk it in?
Yeah, if they got 2 months to do that,
it takes a lot of
a huge amount of time.
Tedious.
Yeah, you got to cut it, piece it in place, and then you have to seal the perimeter of it.
Right.
And then you have to still manage the sill plate. Okay, that's a horizontal application, not a vertical.
Right.
So it's horizontal, and then you got to seal the sill plate to the foundation wall if you have a sill plate.
So you can spray foam over all that. And
yeah,
it's
it all
one-time
gets sealed. Yep.
And what kind of foam is that? Is that different than the interior wall foam?
Yeah, the injection foam is different. This is a spray urethane-based foam, and it's a high-expanding foam. It's very rigid and hard in place, and it's fire-rated to be left exposed. So it's the most appropriate material to use for that application.
And it can be done quickly. You guys just go in.
In most basements, a couple hours in and out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And is that expensive?
No, I mean, in compared to the energy savings, it's
so it's a good thing to do.
It's a major assembly. If you really wanted to get into the science of it, we could talk about stack pressure, but we won't get into that.
Stack effect is when
warm air rises, right? So it's 1-to-1. As warm air exfiltrates the house, it pulls more air into the house. So if it's pulling into the house, it's pushing more warm air out. That's stack pressure in a house. So I always say a drinking straw. For every bit of air that I blow into a straw, the same amount of air is leaving. What happens if I plug the end of the straw? I can't blow any more air into it. Okay? If I plug the bottom of the straw and the top of the straw, I've compartmentalized the house and I've reduced stack pressure, and now we're more comfortable, more efficient. So the bottom of the straw is the rim joist. All those gaps, cracks, and penetrations I've been talking about earlier today, that's in your attic. So we deal with both pressure zones, and everybody's happy.
And you balance it. There's ways to track that.
Yeah, the blower door test, the pre and post testing. We do a test before we do any work. We do the test after we do the work, and we prove to you, hey, we got a 20%, 30% reduction in air infiltration. So it's we can quantify this.
Yeah, and that's important. That's the thing. All right, we're going to take a quick break. You want to stay a little longer?
Absolutely, love this.
That's good. You have a question, folks? Give us a call, 248-539-9797. Text us 97136. We're saving you energy. This show saves you money. We'll be right back. It's 2018. We're going to rock it out this year, folks. If you're thinking of doing any home improvement around your house, let me just say this. Hire It Done should be one of your sources to go to. And if you're a contractor, please, if you're looking to grow your business and you're AAA, you're top of your game, call me. We want to talk to you. It's a free call. It's a free information meeting. We want to show you what Hire It Done is doing, and we want you to know that we're looking for you. But you got to be great. If your homeowners aren't bragging about you, don't call us, okay? But if you want to grow your business and you want to learn about Hire It Done and how we promote other companies and how homeowners, listen, we had 25,000. We had 25,000. Sorry about that. 25,000 homeowners used the website last year and requested contractors.
That's great.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So somebody believes me. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. Still on #1 radio show, by the way, dude. Anyways, text me love questions, not hate, please. We're all about love this year. Let's go to the phone lines really quick. Let's talk to Scott in Ypsilanti. What up, Scott?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Happy New Year to both of you.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you, too. What's going on?
Hey, I shouldn't say a problem, but I guess it's a condition. I have a car that I store during the winter months. The area is like one of these commercial storage places. It's 10 by 25. Is there anything I could do to it? Obviously, I don't own it. It's just a garage I rent, to make it just more conducive inside to better care for the car.
So is there an electrical outlet in that storage unit?
There is.
Okay, so there's a product that you can plug in called EconoHeat that I know of. And it's electrical. It uses about 18 pennies a day in electricity, and it gently heats up. It's a flat panel that heats up, and it sticks off the wall about 2 inches. So what happens is, as that heats up, the air gets sucked in underneath, and it slowly processes air around, and it works for about a 10 by 20 room. And
this is 10 by 25.
Okay, so that's perfect. So go to econoheat.com. And that's the website you go to, and you can take a look at that. And it's probably a perfect solution because it won't cause a fire, it won't do anything like that. It's probably your best bet.
Sounds like a winner. I sure do appreciate it. Enjoy the show.
Happy New Year to you, and thanks for listening.
Take care now.
Let's go to Wes in Highland Park. What's up, Wes?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you. What's going on, man?
All right, the situation I have is that I was looking at getting my crawl space encapsulated, and I had a couple companies come out and give me some quotes, and just to be, just looking at everything from a realistic standpoint, I really just can't afford it as of right now when it comes to like the full encapsulation. You know, it's like my house is 1,900 square feet. And I wanted to ask you guys, like, if there was any other route and, you know, something else that I can do, you know, because the floors are just too cold with the cold air coming into the crawl space. And there's wooden floors off of the house.
Yeah, it's actually a good question. Alex, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it really comes down to what the conditions are. If you have heat ducting, plumbing, things like that, if there's moisture prevalent, you know, is there anything that you do is, you know, the potential, you know, putting inexpensive fiberglass in the floor joists, you're going to end up replacing that. So it's all more cost. I think maybe finding, you know, like we talked about earlier, the Michigan Saves program, which is a great program to help pay for this, to where you can get it all done correctly the first time and do it in a manageable way, and then take advantage of the rebates that are available. So I don't know if these contractors that you have been talking with had any solutions for you to help make this affordable. But, you know, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to come take a look at it for you. We're very competitive in pricing, and we can offer some alternatives to help subsidize some of the cost to it too. So,
yeah.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah, Wes, he'll come out for free. So it's 855-WANT-FOAM, or go to comforttolife.com. Give him a call. Tell him you called on the radio. He'll set up an appointment. He'll come out and take a look at it and give you an idea of,
your options.
You know, good, better, best.
Yep.
Best way to do it, actually.
Yeah, man, the word encapsulation in a crawl space is very vague, and there's many different ways contractors approach encapsulation, but
so we'll try it out.
All right. Appreciate that.
Wes, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. Happy New Year to you. So, folks, if you have a question, always go to hireitdone.com. You can always ask Adam. You can email me. Adam@hireitdone.com is my email. We'll always want to help you. We'll always send you to the right place. Here's a text. My main floor is significantly cooler than my second floor. Some vents feel like there is little to no air coming out, the one furthest from the furnace, and I have a crawl space that's in good shape, used for storage and furnace located down there. Should I install insulation in the crawl space to help heat my main floor? Would that help?
Well, if you're not feeling any distribution coming out of the ducts, you have a distribution issue. So you need to manage that.
And that's something you look at when you're at a house, too.
Yep.
So you heard of a duct blaster?
Yes.
Do you ever do those tests?
We've done them, yes. Ducts leak. It's just that.
How much? I heard ducts leak like 30%.
Yeah. I mean, it's just metal on metal. There's no seal there unless the contractor, you know, building code today, we got to seal our ducts now. But back in, you know, before.
Up until 3-4 years ago.
Right. So ducts leak, you're going to have leakage. And if you want better distribution, you got to seal them.
Interesting. So can you seal duct? Is that one of the on your ladders?
Yeah, there's many different ways to seal ducts. There's foil tape, there's mastic, there's spray foam, and then there's AeroSeal. Yeah.
Do they still do that with the gel?
Yeah, it's an aerosol mastic that gets blowed into the duct.
Is there anyone that does it around here?
Yeah, Amnesty Duct Cleaning. Yeah.
Oh, Amnesty does. Yeah. Good guys.
Yep.
Yeah, I know them. I didn't realize that was them. Okay, cool. Yeah, they're duct cleaning. You've seen dirty ducts, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Right? Did you know, folks, the average house has 25 pounds of schmutz in the ductwork? I call it schmutz. It's one of the Hire Done vocabulary words of 2018.
Where do you think all that schmutz comes from?
The insulation on the bond plate being sucked in.
Air infiltration. Exactly.
Right? Yep. Air infiltration. See, it's all like a house's system. Everything's connected.
Yep.
Your kidneys fail, you're going to die.
Yep.
Even though if you're a heart guy, I got you.
Yep.
But bacon can cure all that.
Yes, it does. It's amazing, isn't it?
Right. Speaking of food, yeah, we went almost an hour and a half before I talked about food today. Something must be wrong. I made chili in the Instant Pot last night. Yeah. Chef Healthy.
Yeah.
That's it. Hire It Done and Chef Healthy. Dangerous combination. 248-539-9797. Let's go to the phone line. Steve in Dexter. Happy New Year. What's going on, man?
Oh, frozen pipes again.
Ay.
Yeah.
So what's where are they frozen at?
In the crawl space.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alex, that's a common issue.
Yeah. This part of the encapsulation process is properly air sealing and insulating the perimeter walls of the crawl space, protecting all the mechanical systems within it. So we're controlling the environment by doing that. That's the ideal process. But Yeah, cold fiberglass insulation. If air's moving through it, it's going to strip the value out of it. So when we wrap pipes in fiberglass, it can't keep up with cold temperatures and wind. That's the thing. Our phone goes go off the hook when we have cold temperatures and wind. Once the wind starts, all the fiberglass homes, it just pierces right through it, and everybody's freezing. Pipes are bursting, and it's a mess.
What about the crawl space vent, open or closed?
It depends on what your thermal boundary is. So if the walls are insulated in your crawl space, those vents weren't designed to be left open.
Got it.
Okay. If the floor is insulated, then we're supposed to be venting the crawl space. So
that's the official.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So Steve, what's in your crawl space? You have insulation?
I just learned that no.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, that's a big oy vey there.
Yeah.
So
a week ago, all of the CPVC under the house exploded.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I paid a plumber. He came in. He put all new lines. All my water supply is brand new under there. He supposedly heat taped all of the water supply lines and wrapped it. And I woke up this morning and froze again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So, but Alex, you could come out there and solve that, right?
Yeah. There's, again, heat tape, it's a Band-Aid. It's really just trying to prevent those pipes from freezing, but what's the ultimate root cause? It's cold air getting into the crawl space. We need to control that environment. Yeah.
So if you want, go ahead.
The bottom 2 feet of my home, when that furnace is running, you can feel the cold air just come right up through the floors.
Yeah.
It's pretty cold. I first time home buyer, uneducated, had no idea what was going on,
and the worst,
it's been a nightmare.
And the worst part is if your ducts are running through the crawl space, then essentially you're running your ducts through the outside before you start delivering conditioned air to the house.
Yeah, no, all my duct work is in the ceiling blowing down into the house.
Okay, good.
Well, we're here to solve that for you. So if you want, just go visit Alex's website, comforttolife.com, or just give him a call, 855-WANT-FOAM. He'll schedule an appointment, come out, take a look at it. He'll give you what I call the roadmap. He calls it the ladder. And each rung of the ladder, you can just say, all right, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then next year I'll do the rest. So anyways, thanks for the call. Happy New Year to you, and I appreciate you listening.
All right, thank you.
Folks, this is what we're here for at Higher Done. We're here to help you solve your problems. We're here to help you get information. But then when it comes time to getting a contractor, where do you go? That's what HireItDone.com is here for. You got Alex. This is the guy. Listen, if you're going to have a problem, don't you want to go where you know that people are good? I mean, why take a risk? That's what we do. We do the homework for you. We do the 10-point screening. So anyways, enough of that. We just want you to have good, fun, hassle-free home improvement. That's all. That's the way I look at it. So crawl spaces, dirt floor, 2-3 courses of block high, and then they build a room on top of it. If you don't insulate those outer walls and the floor, 2 feet in? What's the...
Yeah, it's about 24 inches. You'll have conduction through the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you got to go up the wall, and then the bond plate needs to be sealed all the way around, and that works.
Yeah, encapsulation. You want to take advantage of the thermal benefits of using spray foam on the foundation walls. You want to use a closed cell foam so it doesn't absorb moisture. So any below grade application, that's what you want to use. And you spray foam from the subfloor down the rim joist, down the foundation wall. And by using the spray foam, you're going to do 3 things. 1, you're going to air seal the wall cavity, stopping the cold from coming in, your heat from going out. 2, you're going to insulate, stop the cold from conducting through. And 3, you're going to stop any moisture migration. So it's kind of an all-in-one type of product using a closed cell spray foam. And then you're stopping the dust, the insects, and rodents from coming in. And then on the floor, we put a thick vapor barrier, and it's a plastic membrane. It's not visqueen. Visqueen is designed to break down, just like trash bags in a landfill. Right. We don't want to use visqueen in a crawl space where we got dirt and moisture. And we seal all the points, all the seams, any pillars and columns, so it's one solid sealed assembly. And by doing this, now the crawl space is controlled, the environment. We don't have any ventilation anymore because the crawl space is essentially inside. It's conditioned space now. Your ductwork and your plumbing, all that, is now not exposed to the elements. So
Perfect. Loving it. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. You got a question, text us 97136. We've got Alex Van Rijn here. We're talking energy savings. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks. This is Hired Done. Alex Van Rijn, Building Performance Solutions is the name of the company. ComfortToLife.com is the website. The phone number, folks, 855-WANT-PHONE. And if you're driving, you can't write it down, always just know HiredDone.com. It's that simple. We have a big plan, a big year planned at Hired Done for everyone that wants to know. First of all, shout out to DA Home Improvement. Dave Adamczyk's listening in. He just said, say hi to Alex. You know, I didn't know you knew Dave.
yeah.
And then Jeff Petrucci from Bloomfield Constructions on the airwaves listening to us today. Good morning, Bloomfield Construction. Shout out to them. And, of course, Justin Moss, Dana Reeves, Sean Harper. We got them all listening. Hired Done is a good setup. Do you like it, Alex?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great.
You find it good for your business?
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
I mean, you wouldn't be renewing every year.
Right.
It didn't
Been
work.
together since
06. Whatever happened to Krabby?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm glad. He's probably listening, getting all crazy. He was mean and rude. How about that? You're like, no comment. It's so funny. Anyways, folks, we really, really, really want homeowners to know we're here as a resource, okay? We want to educate you, and that's one of the difference makers for Hired Done. Not only are we going to put you in front of good contractors, but we're going to give you the questions to ask the contractors, and then sometimes, almost all the time, we're going to be giving the homeowners the questions they don't want you to ask, which is good though.
Yeah.
Because if you plan it properly, a home improvement project with the right yeses and the right nos and everything included, and then you do the Hired Done, please tell me everything not included, it really solves a lot of problems out of the gates.
My favorite customer is the educated customer.
Right?
They understand the value. They
And
know
that's
what they're getting.
important.
Yep.
And that's what we want to do. You know, Hired Done did, and this is, you're attached to the roofing industry, right? We were involved in 35,000 squares of installation last year.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I mean, we really pride ourselves on our roofing contractors. That's, you know, the number one request Hired Done gets, and we have the best roofers. And so, and we tell them all to go to WIMSAT, by the way. Shout out to WIMSAT. I hope they're listening. My point is, though, they're solution-minded. We've got contractors who want to come out and give you a roof that doesn't leak. But what we do to the homeowners is say, here's the questions that you need to ask them. Here's what they need to do to give you a really good roof. They better stick their head in your attic. They better understand ventilation. They better understand intake. They better understand insulation. It's not just the shingle anymore.
Right.
And we now apply all that to all our trades, the heating and cooling guys. The furnace, right? Combustion air, non-combustion air. Makeup air, putting a furnace in that works for a homeowner. If they're just putting in here's a $1,200 furnace. That's it? No. It has to heat the house properly. It has to be, we tell our guys to do manual J's. They're like, oh. I'm like, yeah, because if this furnace is not installed properly, and it's not sized right, what good is it?
Yeah. Forcing these contractors into a systems approach. That's what it is. Everybody's starting to understand that it's not just the roof. It's all the other components to it, too.
Makes sense. And, the other thing is we're big into siding this coming year. Siding is it's tough to find. Again, the theme of 2018 is finding good quality labor.
Yeah.
Folks, if you know somebody that wants to be trained, if you know somebody that has a solid driver's license or can have, how about just reliable transportation and pass a drug test? Those are two critical things. But if you do, the trades gets paid good money. You could make really good money and you can learn a skill. Okay? It's cool to be a plumber. It's cool to be an electrician, right? It's hot and cool to do insulation. But here's the thing. You're solving a problem for people. There's a satisfaction to that.
Yep.
It's not sexy.
No, it's not.
Right? But it is when the bill comes in and the bill's 50% less.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And you can do that.
And you got to play in a factor comfort. Comfort. People have a price for comfort. How uncomfortable are you in your own home? And indoor air quality, health and safety. All those things are factors.
Big time, big time.
Yep.
And here's another thing, folks. Internet of Things, IoT, right? Ring.com. You've got everything going on in your house with Wi-Fi. The smart home has finally been accepted by homeowners. Everybody has a smart home and everyone has a smartphone. The integration of those two is making it really good. Alexa, Google Home. Now there's going to be all these devices. Like Nest thermostat was one of the first, right? But they're going on to the next level. You want someone bringing your doorbell? You want to see who it is. If you notice, there's a trend going on, folks. People don't like to talk on the phone anymore. They don't. Why are you calling me? But you can text somebody. They'll look at it. They can respond or not. That's the difference. People have these phone numbers. They go to Hire It Done. You need your email address, your home address, your phone number, because that's how we got to get a hold of you. But people sometimes give us that triple play type phone number. And, we have our computer program. When you go into hireitdone.com, you have to fill out, your information so that we can match you. We have a program that tells us if the phone number is a cell phone or a landline. A lot of people have phone numbers like that landline. We call it the triple play number. They don't set up the voicemail. They don't set it up. And then our contractors are calling and calling and calling to set up an appointment because that's how it works. And then the homeowners, we email them. Hey, Mrs. Jones, it's been 3 days. You should have heard from these people. Tell us who you made appointments with. If you need help, let us know. Well, no one's called me. Then we call back. We're like, hey, man, Mrs. Jones said you didn't call. What are you talking about? I have 9 phone calls into this phone number. Hi, Mrs. Jones. He called this phone number. Perhaps you didn't check the voicemail or you don't have it set up yet? Oh, that's my line because I hate giving out my other phone number. Oh, okay. Thank you. So that's the best part about Hire It Done. And for all the listeners, Hire It Done is for homeowners who are serious about home improvement. So when you're ready, you visit the website. And by the way, it's okay, folks, to say yes after one bid. Yes, we want to give you 3 or 4 contractors, but I'm telling you, Adam Helfman in 2018 is giving you, the homeowner, permission. You have my permission to say yes. It's okay to say yes on the first estimate. If you're comfortable, you like the person sitting in front of you, and you feel good, Adam Helfman from Hire It Done says it's okay to say yes. How do you like them apples?
I agree 100%.
There's no, again, most people get other bids because they're afraid they're being overcharged. In fact, homeowners have 2 fears. I'm going to be ripped off or I'm going to overpay.
And the more people giving their opinions, the more confused everybody gets. And then you throw the internet into the mix. And, all these different articles are written for other agendas, and people can start getting confused, especially in my line of work. Science gets confusing, and everybody's got an opinion, and some are motivated by sales, some are motivated by limitations of what products they sell, and some are just lacking of education as to.
I can sit a guy who sells Owens Corning insulation.
Yep.
Next to the guy that sells Applegate insulation. Next to the guy that sells, let's just say, some closed cell foam insulation. And each one of them can give me a convincing argument why I should use their product.
Yep.
And if it's installed and done right, for the most part, I'm going to have success. It's just like a roof. I can go with a 50-year SBS shingle. Malarkey, GAF, Certainteed, Tamco. They're all going to have their 50-year shingle. But the key, and this is the theme of everything about Hire It Done, the key is if I don't have the right contractor installing it, it's worthless.
Well, yeah, and as far as the insulation world, every material has its place, and it's knowing where to put that product. We do all different types of insulation, so we're not partial to one product or the other. Again, it's that interviewing process. What's your goals? Budget's always a factor, and that will dictate, based on the assembly, what products we're going to use. So it's not driven by any other means than the goals and the outcome of the project, of the customer. So
yeah, and that's important. So that's a great statement. It's the right application, just like in roofing. Some people want 3-tab shingle and some want a dimensional. But if it's not installed properly, and that's why I hired on all of our roofers are certified by the manufacturer. We're not partial to one brand or another, although the best roof is the one that's installed properly. That's what we tell people. And, folks, the most important tool in your toolbox this year, I said at the beginning of the show, and I'll say it again now, it's time. Time is your currency today. Most homeowners don't have the time to really, really do all the homework necessary to find a great contractor. That's why Hire It Done exists. That's why we're so popular. It's because homeowners trust us, want the brand to help them, and that's what we deliver. Hassle-free home improvement. So, Alex, again, it's the website, comforttolife.com. His phone number is 855-WANT-FOAM, and his company name is Building Performance Solutions. He will come out and give you an energy audit if you want to do that, or he'll just come out and do a survey and say, all right, here's the deal. I can see right now after 5 minutes in your home, here's 5 things you need to do. But if you want, we can do a complete comprehensive. It's like a physical.
Yeah.
Cough. Right? Home improvement can be funny, folks. It's all good. But really, that's it. And then you give them you call the ladder. Step 1 is this. Step 2 is this. If you want to do them all, no problem. Here's what it costs. And here's what it costs you per month if you can finance it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yep.
Alex, I want to thank you for the business, by the way.
I want to thank you.
I appreciate it. I look forward to a great relationship to share with you, too.
Great. Appreciate it.
Folks, and that's what we do here. Give you good information. We are the #1 source for home improvement content in Metro Detroit. Take that to the bank. Chase, Bank of America, don't matter. And we're going to be taking Bitcoin soon. I'm working on it. Cryptocurrency with Hire It Done 2018. You watch. It's coming. The Hire It Done dollars. They're worth a lot. You trust me. You can bet on it. Anyways, next week we'll be back with great information. I want to thank you for listening. I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. We are going to rock and roll in 2018. Lots of big things going on, folks. Big time. We're talking big time. Healthy style is what I call it. All right, folks. See you next week. Thanks for listening. I'm Adam Helfman. This is Hire It Done on 97.1 The Ticket.